Okay. Uh, and the first thing I just wanted to ask you is what's it been like with all the new faces on this team putting everything together during a pandemic?
Yeah, so we do have lots of new faces, which is very exciting. Doing all this during a pandemic has definitely had its challenges, but at the same time, you have to embrace those challenges. And there are definitely positives that come along with it, such as the fact that we are forced to bond together because right now we are all we have. We stay in our bubble and hang out with our team for the most part, which has brought us very, very close together. And I'm someone who likes to find the positives. So yes, it's been challenging, but that's just a side note that, has benefited our team as well.
Okay. Hi, Anna. You're only a sophomore on the team, but you're one of the few returning players on the team that saw minutes from last year. So what kind of leadership role do you expect to undertake this year, or what have you already undertaken this year in terms of leadership?
Yes, so we obviously returned 3 people that got minutes last year. And that in and of itself puts a responsibility on our shoulders because we have the experience, we know what it takes, what's gonna, get the wins and what's not. So I think just leading our younger players is my biggest leadership role this year, and just paving the way and making sure they understand what the standard is, which is very, very high at Penn State basketball.
Move over to Joe Putnam.
All righty. Hey, Anna, how's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing all right. Doing all right. Long time no see. I just wanted to ask you, and I'm sorry if this was asked before. I was kind of late to the breakout room, but today we got the word that you and PJ Mustafer had presented to the Board of Trustees about advocating social justice. So if you'd answered that already, I apologize, but maybe you can expand upon it and talk about how important the cause of social justice is to you.
Yeah, no, so this is the first question, so you're fine.
Okay.
Being one of the most diverse teams on campus, social justice is a topic that is obviously very, very close to our hearts, and we feel very called to strive for positive change in whatever way we can. I'm very thankful to my coaches, to Lynn, to Sandy, all of our administration who lets us use our voices and talk to the Board of Trustees and share everything that we're doing. I feel very blessed to play for a school that values opinions and voices and letting us be heard. So I'm very thankful for that. It is so important for us to use our platform as Penn State athletes to strive for a more equal and just society, which is what we've been doing.
We'll go back to Alexis.
Okay, so what sort of expectations do you have for yourself personally and for the team this season, just expanding upon what your record was from last year and maybe what you guys want to accomplish this year?
Yeah, so this year is definitely be one of growth. Our team goal has always been to leave the jersey in a better place. That's one of our mottos, something that we live by. So this year it will be to leave the jersey in a better place, and next year it will be to leave the jersey in a better place. Take that as you may. We want to win. Obviously, we didn't do that as much as we wanted to last year, so that's at the forefront of our goals. I think for me, I'm looking to see a lot of growth in my all-around game, as well as my consistency on the court. I think that would be my biggest self-improvement. But at the end of the day, I just want to win, and that's our number one goal, and to leave that jersey in a better place.
Pat?
Hi, Anna. I feel like it's sort of kind of easy to take the ability to play a sport for granted at times. And obviously there was a period of time throughout the offseason where you guys didn't even know if you're going to be able to play basketball this year. So with that being said, can you sort of speak to how much appreciation just the team has gained just to be able to play the sport that you guys love?
Yeah, I mean, you said it yourself. You do take it for granted without even realizing it. And I think during quarantine, not being able to be around my coaches and the rest of my team and our amazing facilities was very hard and put things into perspective. But I'm so grateful for that because it allowed us to come back and attack everything that we have with a new appreciation, with a new fire for getting better, putting all the effort, max effort that we have into every single play, every single drill, and just being very grateful to be in the gym, because there are teams and people who aren't able to do that right now. And we're very fortunate to be at a university that can afford to test every day and get us to play our season, hopefully.
Thank you.
Thanks, Pat. For everyone new coming in, make sure, raise your hand and we'll get over to you. Justin.
Hey, Anna, good to see you. Sorry if this has been asked before, but how would you define leadership?
Wow, that's a good question. I think leadership for everyone is different. It's hard to define it to one thing. To me, leadership is leading by, or I'm not going to use the word in the answer. Leadership is giving 100% effort at all times, being someone that can follow, but also being able to follow and being able to listen. I think a big part of leadership for me is relationships and building that with your team and your staff and building that trust. I think at the end of the day, people are going to follow and they're going to respect a leader that has invested time into them.
What statistical goals does this team have other than winning and building a culture? What hard kind of goals do you think you and your teammates want to strive for, Anna?
One statistical goal that we talk about a lot is points per possession. So we want to score at least 1 point per possession throughout a game. We track that and we do drills in practice to do that. It's all about efficiency and taking care of the ball, minimizing turnovers. I think that's a huge one for us, as well as assists this year. We are a shooting team. We are a very fast team, and we are very widespread talented. So I think our assists are going to go up dramatically from last year, which is going to be really fun to watch.
And how much pride do all these PA girls take in kind of representing Penn State? I mean, they're tremendous young women like you, Maddie, Kelly, Cash, if she gets eligible, McKenna, I can go on, and maybe I missed a few. How much pride do you take in kind of, hey, let's represent our state here, Anna?
There's a lot of pride. I mean, I know for me, for Kelly, Kenna, Maddie, and Cash returning home, we picked the state because we want to put it back on the map and because this is our home state and we bleed blue and white. So there is a lot of pride in restoring Penn State's legacy to its glory.
And like in terms of TikToks, like who famous has reached out to you about this? Like you pretty much a jack of all trades. You're a good student. You're a good leader, athlete wise, and now social media. I know quarantine can kind of bore us all a little bit, but what's been going on in TikTok here, Anna?
TikTok is super fun. I'm all about building my personal brand for life when the basketball stops dribbling. So that's exactly what I'm doing. Obviously, Penn State basketball has given me a great platform for that. Sure. People love their Penn State sports. So I'm so grateful to our fans for investing in me on social media. But it's just fun and I'm thankful for it.
Thanks, Anna. That was it.
Thanks, Justin. We'll move over to Peter Terpstra.
Hey, and I want to ask you about McKenna. You can't really overlook what she did last year because she had such a good year. But you guys have such a young team, and she's going to be a sophomore coming back as the team's leading scorer. What have you seen from her game, and how do you think what role do you think she's expected to fill this next season? Maybe a bigger role.
Yeah, so McKenna is consistently the hardest worker in the gym. She never takes a rep off, and that's something that I really, really respect about her. I would say her growth this offseason has been dramatic. Her handle's looking better, her shot's more consistent. I think the biggest thing for her this year is going to be her vocal growth on the court as a leader. Whether she's bringing the ball up as a point guard or running in primary, I think that her voice and her presence on the court as a leader is going to be a lot stronger, having had the experience and now us having such a younger team. And that's going to help us dramatically this season. I'm very excited to see all her hard work pay off.
Just to follow up, what was it like meeting all these new people kind of during the pandemic?
Yeah, so it was interesting to say the least. As a leader on such a young team and one of the few returners, it was a lot of texting, a lot of awkward first-time FaceTimes, which is kind of inevitable with these unprecedented times. But through all of it, we've gotten so close and have been forced to really get to know each other, which is a depth level that few teams I think reach. So we're fortunate to almost be put in that box together.
Tell me about some of these new players. Like it's you. I only recognize like 3 people on this team right now. So tell me about some of these new players, like Niam. Tell me about Niam. Let's start with her.
Yeah, so Niam is a fierce competitor. She is very vocal already as a freshman in her point guard position. She is going to compete all the time, work hard. So far, I've really loved playing with her. She distributes the ball well, but can also get to the rim or hit a pull-up J whenever. So she's going to be exciting to watch for you guys.
What about Cash? I know there's still questions about if she's going to play or not, but either way, in practice, she's going to make you better, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. So Cash as well. I mean, we are a team of competitors. So Cash competes. She is probably the most athletic person I've ever seen or played with in my life. That girl can jump and she can run. Yeah, she's very athletic and uses that to her advantage. She rebounds the ball, and that's something that we really need.
In terms of, look, you still want to live your life. You're a sophomore in college. You're in the prime of your life. But what restrictions has Penn State and the guidelines kind of put on you? Like, do you literally just go from your dorm to practice and like do Zoom at your apartment, or are you allowed to like eat at a restaurant? Like, I don't even tell me like the play-by-play of your day, but what can you still have fun and do things, or is it really just kind of on lockdown right now to be a student athlete? That's a sacrifice you have to take.
Yeah. So, it's definitely a sacrifice in a sense, meaning that we are in a bubble, we can't see our families unless we are masked up and socially distanced. And that pretty much goes for everyone. But that by no means that we can't have any fun. We have had so much fun as a team, whether it's dressing up in costumes, showing up to the gym for Halloween and, practice, or just hanging out as a team. Playing wiffle ball outside, whatever it may be. We've been creative in finding ways to have fun even within our bubble. But there are definitely sacrifices that, are being made. And that's the case, COVID or no COVID. There are always sacrifices. They just seem to be a little more extreme at the moment.
Mechanically, did you change your shot at all? What'd you do basketball-wise to get better?
Yeah, so it's no secret I'm known as a shooter. Right. But I think a lot of my off-season work has been to extend that resume, to make people, guard me in the paint and to be able to get stops defensively, get more rebounds for my team. So I've just been trying to, extend that game past that, shooter reputation.
Justin, I'm going to let Philip go real quick and we can come back to you if you had more. So Philip, if you want to ask a question.
Yeah, kind of piggybacking on that, what's it like? What were the challenges of trying to improve or add to your game where, we're in quarantine or we're in a pandemic, the opportunities I can't imagine were out there as they might normally be.
Yeah, so it really was just going back to the basics. I was out in my driveway using my outdoor ball, scuffing up my knees in my shoes every day during quarantine because that's what I had access to. And in a way, it was everything that I needed following last season. It really brought me back to my love for the game and falling in love with the process. We get so caught up in facilities and the tricks and the gets and the gadgets of what modern day basketball is, that when forced to, go back to the basics and to play outdoor ball and play one-on-one with my siblings every day during quarantine, it was so refreshing.
Alexis?
I'm not sure why my camera isn't turning on here. Technical difficulties, I guess. But Anna, you're listed as one of only 3 forwards on the roster, and really the only one coming back from last season. So do you view yourself sort of as a leader in this role, even though the other 2 listed roster on the roster as forwards are a couple years above you? And what can we expect from the forward position this season?
Yeah, so I think that I view myself as a leader in the sense that I have experience specifically with Penn State basketball and our standard and how we play. I think that I personally have a lot to learn in all parts of my game, but, definitely in the forward as well. And I'm learning from Brittany and I'm learning from Cash as we go. I think that's something that's very special about our team, is that we're all learning from each other. We all have such different strengths, and that's making us all better. From our group of forwards and centers this year, you can expect us that we are very versatile, and we're going to be very hard to guard because we're very fast, all of us. We're going to rim run, we're going to play fast, and it's going to be an exciting group to watch.
And then Nicole, can I get one last question, please?
Yeah, no problem. Yep, go ahead.
Anna, I am a very avid TikTok user, and I've come across many of your TikToks before on my For You page. So how did you get started with making so many TikToks? And is this important to you at all for any specific reasons, or is it just to have fun, with your teammates or just in your spare time?
Yeah, so I started TikTok last spring, late winter. It honestly started as a joke because my team was like, well, specifically Shay and Kenna actually were like, you could totally be TikTok famous. Like, you have to do it. So I made a couple and it actually started to blow up. And so I just stuck with it. And now it's something that I'm actually very passionate about. I think one of the biggest things about social media that draws me to it is I want to be an inspiration for future generations. And if social media is how I do that, if that's how I show younger females that they can play basketball and be just as successful as the male population, then that's how I'm going to do it. And it's really, really exciting. I'm also trying to, obviously build my personal brand for life after basketball, because eventually the ball will stop bouncing. And when that comes, I'm hopefully going to be very prepared for that.
Joe, we can get you for a last question here for Miss Anna.
Awesome. Well, I guess the biggest thing is, I think I just talked with Shay about it. You and she and McKenna are roommates this year, and about the connection that you three have off the floor and how it translates on the floor.
Yeah, so those are my girls. I mean, I would call them sisters because we bicker, we argue about this and that, but we are bonded indefinitely for life. I don't think there's anything that I would go through that I know they wouldn't have my back for. What we went through last year together, and then to be the only three that did decide to stay, that just signifies unity and relationships that are going to last forever. And how well we know each other on the court, or how well we know each other off the court, obviously translates on the court. I mean, we are able to pick each other up, but also hold each other accountable when needed. And that's just something that's very, very special.